Hey, House of the Dragon fans, welcome to another review episode of House of the Dragon. This is episode 8. I don't know if you have noticed, but it is crystal clear that this series has a MO, and that MO is time leaps. Chronologically, it's been 6 years since the episode took place. But I have this question for you guys. Are you just as sick as me when it comes to these leaps? Actors come and go, characters develop behind scenes without giving us a chance to see what's going on, and the story goes from one place to another without ever focusing on one thing. In this episode, Prince Daemon is busy scaling cavernous walls, while King Viserys is doing everything in his power to remain breathing, to remain alive. Boy, how the 6 years have treated these brothers differently. And then Alicent and Rhaenyra, they're doing the same old, same old. They're both fighting for their sons, they're both fighting for their son's safety, and they're both fighting for their son's future. When Rhaenyra and Alicent do come face to face, there aren't fireworks. Forget fireworks, there is a happy reunion happening again. Aside from that, politics, check. A character dying, check. Family infighting, check. Subversion and tactics at play, check and check. So Tino, I want to just come out and say it. At the end of last episode, I was pretty excited to see where this show was headed. But I have to say, with each consecutive episode, my excitement level has diminished. When this series first started, like the first 2-3 episodes, it was moving fast, it was quick, it was brisk, and I didn't feel like we were missing a lot. The story was jumping, but I felt like we were getting so much content, so much action, that I didn't mind it. Now, I feel like not only do the episodes drag a little bit, but the episodes just go from one place to another, and these constant time leaps, it's like killing me. We can't stay with any one character. We can't even develop favorites. Like, I know you are Team Black, I am Team Green, but after this episode, I don't even care. I don't care if Rhaenyra gets the throne. I don't care if Alicent gets her son on the throne. I don't care if there is a throne. There's no loyalty here. There's no emotional pull for me here because the characters change. The actors playing these characters change. We can't even get used to one actor before another one jumps in. But the highlight for me in this entire episode, one, was Paddy's portrayal of King Viserys. I think this episode was for him. What a brilliant send-off. What amazing acting there was. And second, Aemond. This actor was captivating. He only had a few lines, but his presence was fierce. I felt like this was another coming of Prince Daemon. I feel like they are mirrors of each other, and I hope we get to see this, but I don't know. I just don't care anymore.
I feel you a little bit on that, to be honest with you. We talked about this when we were watching as well. And, I think I mentioned it so many times already that these time jumps and how fast things are moving it's too much. Previous Game of Thrones series, there's a reason that no one liked the way things ended. It was too fast. But the first few seasons, they were so amazing because we developed this kind of likeness to the characters and we got to know them. Actually, even the actors. I mean, a lot of the actors.
Even the actors.
No.
I know when the first jump really occurred, when Millie and Emily were replaced by Olivia and Emma. I know I didn't have much problem with it because they were there for a few episodes, but even with them being replaced, because they had become fan favorites, people really liked these actors. So for that change to happen, now this change is happening. It's just so much going on. Why couldn't this 10 episode season be split into 2 seasons?
Agreed.
Or make that 10 episodes into 12, 13 maybe? I don't know. Whatever it is, why couldn't we focus on one period of their development, their growth, how they move, what is happening? Because it's not fair on the viewers to be given an anecdote that, hey, it's been 6 years, now deal with it, figure out what's going on, because it doesn't even feel like that much is happening. The 6 years jump may be happening, but the show is moving at a snail's pace.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, one of the main things, there are certain characters, they're new. I mean, you talk about Aemon. I agree. Aemon reminded me right away, just the actor, as kind of like a junior Daemon. I mean, the same kind of personality and this
Yeah.
badass
The
look
way
on his
he
face.
lurks, the way he
Yeah,
stares, he's quiet, but he's paying attention to everything. It reminded me of Matt Smith's portrayal in the first
yes,
couple episodes where I was loving Damon.
yeah.
I was a huge fan.
And
And
actually,
that
he actually kind
character,
of looked like Matt Smith as well, to be
yeah,
honest with
and
you.
but then the problem is that fierceness, that like there's something evil, there's something there intriguing about him that is missing from Damon's character. Even in this episode, he is a sidekick. I felt that last episode as well, and on this one, he's basically just going along with Rhaenyra. Whatever she wants, he's doing, which is fine. He's married to her now. He has 2 kids with her now, but where is that Damon that had no mercy? He was doing what he needed to do because he wanted to do it. Here, I feel like he's taken a back seat. The character to me has become very weak. And that is so unfortunate because in the first few episodes, it was all Damon, 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 for me at least.
I don't think he has become weak. I think he has become mature, where he knows when to play the game. Even, we'll talk about the scene, right? He uses the sword and
Yeah.
he's just calm. He's like, yeah, no
Yeah.
big deal, right? I
But
think
that
he's
was
just
the
become so,
only shining moment. That was his
yeah.
only shining
But
moment.
he's
Whereas in the
become
first,
mature where I think he is not a young lad anymore,
yeah.
right? Like how he was. So he has some control over the way he behaves. I'm pretty sure we will see the bad Damon side
I don't
coming
know.
out.
For the first
Hopefully
time,
so.
maybe I loved Viserys and I couldn't
Yeah,
stand Damon because
yeah,
Viserys, this guy is dying. He has lost an eye. He has
yeah,
lost flesh. You could see the muscles. He has no hair basically left. His teeth are rotted. His nails are blackened. He
yeah,
is like skin and bones. He doesn't have any strength in him. And yet, he had the fortitude to get out of bed, to forego the milk of the poppy and make it to the throne room to weigh in on the decision of who is going to be the next heir of Driftmark because Corlys Valerian is sick and really sick and they don't know if he's going to make it. So I
yeah,
like that even on death's doorsteps, this guy had it in him to go and make his presence felt. He had it in him to make his family come together. And he said, for tonight, I am not your king. I am your father, your
yeah.
husband, your grandsire, your family. So I really liked that. And like
That
I
was great.
said, Patty was
Yeah,
amazing in this episode. I love the body language, the way he was, very like he was coming on to himself to portray just how sick and frail he is. I love the confusion in his mind. Like, why are we fighting over this air situation when we already decided this? What is going on? Why is he in the stepstones? That happened years ago. So, all of that is happening. I even loved this little feeling, this intimacy, this closeness that he even showed with Alicent and Alicent showed with him, the
yeah.
holding the hands, him apologizing to her. But then that apology turned into something else. He
Oh,
basically
yeah,
told her the Song of Ice and Fire, where the White Walkers, they're supposed to come and take over, and House Targaryen is supposed to, take a stand for that. He let her in. And he said that you're the one, you're the one. And he kept saying Aegon, Aegon, Aegon. Allison goes from being confused to thinking, okay, this is a green light because he is letting me in on this. Obviously, we know that he was confusing her with Rhaenyra, but
yes,
Alicent obviously has her own stakes into it. She wants her son to be there, so she took it on that. Obviously, how this plays out, we will see. But just scene by scene, I just want to say I so appreciate this
yeah,
actor because
amazing.
Viserys was killer.
I don't even know what the title of this episode anymore, right? Whatever it was, who cares? This is King Viserys Paddy's episode.
Yes.
Period. Dot. That's it. Give him an Emmy today.
It was brilliant.
Amazing.
And it was so strong that these fierce women, Rhaenyra, Alicent, Rhaenys, they were holding a candle to him today. Even this face to face, that reunion types we had with Alicent and Rhaenyra, and then Rhaenyra and Rhaenys. I was expecting so much more. It was way too calm. It was way too tepid. I know they were still sizing each other up. I know they were still weighing what's going on. I know Rhaenyra was there kind of hinting at Alicent that, oh, you're ruling. What are you doing? Why is my father not on the throne? Even Daemon was saying stuff like that you are giving him medication and drinks, and so he is not in his senses. So,
Yeah.
yes, they were throwing this at her, but at the same time, Allison was like, oh, yeah, you know who is going to control this decision making process? Me. And do you think I'm going to take this into consideration? Yeah. So I know that this was happening, but it was still, okay. I could have done
Yeah.
without that scene. Same with
Yeah.
Renee's. She has been this kind of like a jilted lover situation. She never got the crown that was probably rightfully hers.
Yep.
And then she has lost a daughter. She has lost a son. Her husband may be dying. So she has the weight of the world on her shoulders to figure out what is going to happen with the throne because her brother-in-law is dead set, Vaymond. He wants the throne, and I
Yeah.
100% get it. It's his family seat.
I
They
get it.
worked
Yeah.
their asses off to get it. And he even said the Targaryens rule the skies, but the Valerians rule the seas. And he
Yeah.
doesn't want that throne to go to a different family. 100% I
I
get
get
it.
it.
But that scene with Rhaenys and Rhaenyra, because Rhaenyra knows Lenore is not dead. Rhaenys thinks Lenore is dead. But it was just so mellow. I don't know what is going on. I was so bummed this episode. I couldn't stand it.
To be honest with you, I think if Paddy didn't act the way he did, if the makeup artists and the VFX folks didn't
Oh,
put in
wow.
the efforts, I mean, he looked so weak, right? I mean, it kind of overpowered everything else that happened in this
The
episode. I think if
prosthetic
it took,
work was
yeah,
insane.
unbelievable.
Insane.
Yeah, if we take all of that out and King Viserys situation out, right? Because I think both of us were feeling really sad for him during this
Yeah.
time. He was in pain. He's like, crying pretty much in
His
pain throughout.
sighing, his heavy breathing, it was
Yeah,
so labored. You knew that he wasn't going to last this episode.
yeah,
You have been counting down, like, when is he going to die? When is he going to die? When is he going to die? And wow, what a send off this was for him.
amazing.
We are harping on him. I know this has become a Viserys love fest, but come
That's
on,
fine.
guys. Anyone who saw this episode knew it was all about him. And then who stood out was Aemon. That was it.
Yeah,
On one part, we had Viserys after Viserys after Viserys, like so many scenes. Aemon wasn't in that many scenes,
no,
but he made his presence felt. And you got to see the contrast between Aemon and Aegon. Aegon, once again, is shown he doesn't give a crap. He doesn't want this. He wants to do his own thing. And he
yeah.
takes after his uncle Daemon. He
Oh
is
yeah.
married, but he's out, having fun with everyone else. In fact, there is a serving girl
Actually, not
that
even fun. Yeah,
yeah, not
he's
even
waiting.
fun.
Yeah,
Fun from
it's
his perspective, not
yeah,
the serving girl, Diana. She has to be given a drink because she might be with child now because he has taken advantage of her. And I love how Allison straight up slaps him. She's like, what the hell are you doing? When are you going to change? When are you going to care about your mother? When are you going to care about your wife? When are you
yeah.
going to care about your role in this family? Because
He
how much
doesn't.
longer does she have to babysit him? And how much longer before she realized that Aegon is a lost cause? It's Aemond who has everything you need in an heir.
No, I agree. But to be honest with you, did you get Cersei vibes from Alicent during the whole process? I did a little bit, right? Because I was like, man, is she gonna kill this lady? Who's coming to her, basically saying. But no, she
Yeah,
was actually
for a
crying.
second, you know how sad she felt? I was like, holy shit, is she giving her like
Yeah,
poison?
yeah.
That's what I thought.
But
Did I
that
not?
shows us the difference in Alicent's character. Honestly, she is actually truly kind at heart.
Yeah,
We saw that
I've been
before. She didn't
saying
want.
this forever, and everyone's been hating on me for that.
No, no. I mean, it's true. I mean, she has the wrong intentions. Obviously, she's doing the wrong thing, but she doesn't want. I mean, because I thought I was like, man, this lady is gone. But she was crying and amazing
Yes.
acting, emotions that
No,
Alicent
and
was
the
showing.
fact that she goes to her firstborn, she goes
Slap,
to
yeah,
the
slaps the head out
heir,
of it.
and she's like, when the hell are you gonna stop? Because she can't
Yeah,
stand it. You mentioned she has wrong intentions. I feel like that's perspective because for her, she has the right intentions. So it's all about perception. What works for her doesn't work for Rhaenyra. What works for Rhaenyra doesn't work for her. And that's fine. That's neither here nor there. But as a character, that's what I have liked about Alicent because she is fierce. She's a badass, but she's vulnerable at the same time. And you don't know which card she's going to play. As far as
Yeah.
Rhaenyra goes, I like that once again, she was there standing up for her kids. She introduces her baby and the toddler that she's had with Daemon to her father, and she says this is Viserys. And Viserys says, "What a great name for a king." So you could
Yeah.
see how heartbroken she was to see
Yeah.
her father. You could also see Daemon. In Daemon's eyes, he wasn't happy to see
No.
Viserys like this. One of my favorite moments of the episode was as Viserys is trying to go up onto the steps onto the Iron Throne by himself using that cane. He doesn't want help from anyone, but then Daemon comes and he
Yeah.
helps his brother sit on this throne that he has always wanted. And not only that, he places Viserys' crown on him. That was a really sweet moment, even though Daemon is not a sweet guy. And also, I really like this moment between Rhaenyra and Alicent when they're at that dinner table and everyone is making toast. And Rhaenyra, she stands up and she says sorry to Alicent and she thanks Alicent for standing loyal with her father for all these years
That was very
because
nice.
she has been by his side,
Yeah.
taking care of him, being with him, whatever you want to say. And Rhaenyra acknowledges that. And I also love how Alicent reciprocated that. She said that we are more alike, than we even care to think. You have what it takes to be a good queen. So,
Yes.
okay, that was really
I
a cool
thought,
moment.
yes, and I thought that everything was I mean, obviously we don't know everything is going to be good. We already know that. But
Yeah.
I thought for a second there, right, Viserys, poor guy, in his last breaths, he was still trying so hard to kind of get his family together and
Yeah.
fix whatever thing it was. But unfortunately, because of the situation it was, because of the misunderstanding, he didn't, mean to tell, Alicent or things that Alicent is the
Yeah.
chosen one or whatever,
Yeah.
right? But
So
he
all this, like,
makes a
it was like
mistake.
stitching up a wound and then it unravels again. I feel
Oh,
like that's what happened because when Rhaenyra's about to go after her sons and Alicent's sons attack each other because boys will be boys, I guess. After that, Alicent wants her to stay back and she's like, I'm gonna take my kids back, but I will be back. But we know that it's not gonna be hunky dory. This is the house of the dragon and shit is always gonna hit the fan, which it does. I like this interaction between Rhaenyra's sons and Alicent's sons. I like how
they're
Daemon is
cracking
like,
jokes at each
boy,
other.
boy, boy. And they're like,
Yeah,
don't call me a boy. He's like, well, stop acting like a boy. That's what Aegon says. Aegon is making fun of him, like, oh, do you know what to do with a girl? Will you be able to
yeah.
satisfy your wife? And can I just say, this whole time when they were trying to figure out who is going to marry who and who is going to be heir, I thought they were saying that Lena's daughter will marry Jace. And then I was like, but his name is Jacaerys, not Viserys. So then
That's
I
so funny.
realized that they were talking about marrying her to that baby. That was, I'm like, how much incest can this family tolerate? It is just so
There's
insane to me. And this is how you realize how crazy this family is because it's the same blood. The
they are,
bloodlines
yes.
are
It's
there.
all
It's just,
about the
oh my
pure
God.
blood, right? It's
Yeah,
from
that's
day
all that
one.
matters. But I love, like I said, I love how Vayman just stood up for his house, for his family, and he said the word that Alicent could never say. He flat
Yeah,
out called Rhaenyra's sons bastards, and he flat out called Rhaenyra a whore. Now, obviously, that was valiant, maybe for him being truthful to himself, yes, but he didn't last long on that part because Daemon straight up chopped his head off. Well, half of his face off and he said he deserves to keep his tongue.
yeah.
So whatever it is, can I just say the prosthetic and makeup work once
Oh
again,
man.
that was insane. And then
Yeah.
when the Silent Sisters are working on the body and the Grand Maester comes to Renee and he's like, you shouldn't be here. You shouldn't look upon death. And Renee says that I have seen death up close so much that I don't think it cares if I'm looking at it with open eyes or closed eyes.
Man.
That was a really strong
Renee's
moment.
is bad. I mean, amazing in a way, not a bad in a bad way,
Yeah.
right? I mean, just like her calmness And again, I mean, I keep coming back to the acting too, right? But man, where are these actors coming from? I first of all, I've known about Matt Smith and obviously Emily, but all these other actors, wow, I feel like I found like a new
Yeah.
treasure of all
No,
these
I don't
actors.
know how you weren't aware of Olivia Cook. This
Oh no, I'm
girl
sorry, and
can
Olivia
act.
Cook as well. Yes, yes,
Yes.
Olivia Cook as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
but all these like Patty, like man, wow,
No,
gem, he's
the
in them.
dialogues are amazing. So
Yes,
I
that's
don't
true.
have a problem with the dialogues. I think they're epic. I have a problem with the jumping screenplay.
Yeah,
The
yeah, I
timeline
agree.
is killing me. If we could have gotten more focus on this conflict between Rhaenyra and Alicent, or her kids, some
Yeah,
of that, more of the conflict between Daemon and Viserys, what has happened in these last 6 years, even before the time leaps happened, when the teenagers grew up to be young women. All of that has happened so fast. There is no steadfast loyalty. I was Team Green. I probably am still Team Green. And I love Aemond. I think Aemond is a fierce, strong character. He's also interesting
yeah,
because he has his eye slit. He's wearing that patch. He looks like a pirate. I don't know. But I think there's just something intriguing about him. He knows exactly what to say, when to say it. He's shrewd, and I like shrewd characters. So that fits my vibe. But I wish the series would slow the hell down because, like you said, the
yeah,
biggest problem with Game of Thrones happened in the last season. That
yeah.
last season could have easily been longer in terms of episodes or split into 2 seasons. They
Easily,
just wanted to
easily.
tie everything up so the pacing happened so quickly that you were
Yeah,
jumping from one place to another. And I'm afraid that House of the Dragon has been that all season. Before, I was giving it the benefit of the doubt. Like, I haven't read the story, I haven't read the book, so I have no idea if this pacing makes sense or not. But just as a new viewer to the House of the Dragon world, for me, it seems way too fast.
yeah,
I don't feel any connection to these characters, which is absurd because these characters are the ones we're supposed to be rooting for or rooting against. I don't even care. And if I don't
yeah.
care, what is holding me to this show?
I agree. I mean, I think this episode that we watched just now should have been the last episode of the season, right? Where Viserys
Yeah, it should have
dies,
been the
and
last
then that's it.
easily.
Now you take
Yes,
2 or 3, more episodes that are there to fill in
yes.
some of those gaps.
Corlys Valerian was supposed to be a formidable opponent because he has always been in it for himself.
Yeah,
All of a sudden, he is gone and he's dying. Like,
yeah.
what
Why?
is
Why did he give?
happening?
Where is he? Like, what
And
happened?
Renace, I thought Renace was going to be a strong player in this whole world, and she is relegated to the background as well. And I don't understand why they have made these strong characters so flimsy now. They're not strong anymore. They're
No.
really one-dimensional.
Yeah, even Rhaenyra that I still
Yeah,
really like. I like the vulnerable side. She was actually basically saying that, look, I don't want all of this. Like, forget it. It's been, it's too
yeah,
much. And she was actually, this is the first time that we saw in the whole season that she was actually crying. Different characters, whatever it is. But this is the
yeah.
first time that we saw the vulnerable side. And I'm just like, okay, I mean, this is not the time to cry, Matt.
No,
I mean,
no, I feel
yeah,
like, yes, I agree. Her father is dying, she is gonna
yeah,
cry,
that's
whatever it
different. Yeah,
is. But at the same time, I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel bad for a single person in this episode except
no,
Viserys. I didn't feel like I wanted to cheer for any character. Usually at the
no.
end of an episode, when we watch, at the end of the episode, we have so much to say. We're so excited. We're like, oh, this happened and that happened. And wow, wow, wow. This episode, you were silent. And I
Yeah.
literally broke the ice and I said, Tino, I think this was the worst.
Yeah.
Like, that could have happened to this series.
2 episodes remaining, right? And then after that, we won't probably see the next season for another couple of years. I think they're going to start filming, I believe, later this year in December timeframe, or maybe January of
Mhm,
next year. So
mhm.
probably another 2 years till we see the
I am
next one.
already excited for the next spin-off that's happening. Snow, I love Jon Snow. I wanted to see what happens with him as he goes with the wildlings. I am more interested in that now. You were the Targaryen guy. You were the one that was more interested in this. I love the Game of Thrones world, so I came onto this ride. Right now, I am feeling like I want to get off of this ride. But
Yeah,
hopefully, let's see what happens in the last couple
yeah,
episodes. Because,
it's
like
gonna
you
be
said,
wild.
I definitely think that this episode should have been the end of season 1.
Yeah,
As in, these 2 episodes that are coming before, This should have put 2 more episodes before
Yeah.
this episode and completed the story nicely.
Yes, I am big fan of Targaryens. Obviously not for the incest and all those things, but I love the dragons. I love kind of like, the whole fire and blood thing. I would have liked to see a little bit more backstory on that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we started that they already own the
Keep
stuff.
talking about old Valerian.
Yeah.
They even showed Jace learning how to speak the language.
Yeah.
But what about it? Who cares about old Valerian? You haven't
Exactly.
explained it to anyone.
No.
We have obviously heard some about it because we're Game of Thrones watchers and readers. But what about these people that are coming in? This series does nothing to tie in with the old, with the new,
No.
because obviously for us, this is the old. But
Yeah.
for these people, they are the new. There
Yeah.
has been an old before this time. So
I
the
mean,
way that this series has been handled, I do not like it right now.
Yeah, and I think it's good for probably people that have read the book, right? They understand it, so they know kind of, okay, what's happening. They can fill in the gaps that the episodes have left. We haven't read the book. I'm sure there are so many of.
I mean, I have it sitting here.
I know.
Okay?
We will read it afterwards.
I have it sitting here, but I am not reading it until this season is over. So at least I can figure out, what happened in the season, what didn't happen in the season.
Maybe that would help.
Yeah,
fill in some of
exactly.
the gaps it's been just kind of, we are wondering what happened, right? And
exactly.
It's one good thing that I did like in this episode, and I don't think they showed that in the Game of Thrones series, the actual like dragon eggs when they are hatched.
Yes,
That was pretty cool.
No, those 3 eggs that Daemon finds, and I think you even commented it on it first before I even made the connection. Are those the 3 eggs that Daenerys gets later on, that they're recovered once again? So I feel like that's a connection that was there, and I'm glad that they didn't spoon feed it. If you got it, you got it. If you didn't, you didn't. Or maybe we are drawing this connection. I don't know, but I want to think that these are the eggs he recovers, because then he tells whoever was with him that keep them in a safe place, take them, right? So then they might get mishandled or whatever happens, we don't know. But I just feel like those are Dany's eggs.
Yeah, I agree. I just love like the way this. I mean, I saw it when the eggs were in this weird kind of glob thing, and Daemon is actually kind of like cutting the stuff and getting the eggs out. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool, because we never saw really, okay, where do the dragons lay egg? And by the way, they don't lay eggs in like the Dragonstone area. It's like somewhere in the mountains, kind of hard to even get to, right? Where you see Daemon is climbing down. Yeah, wow. That was pretty cool, actually.
Okay, guys, so that's it for us today. Please let us know what you think. Are you still happy and excited about this series, or are you turning into me that it's like, okay, yeah, whatever? Please follow us as well. I am Burry602, and like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we will be back next week with another review, even though I am not feeling it right now. See ya, guys.
Maybe next episode will change it. We'll see.
Hopefully. Let's see what happens.